Welcome back to Goldenridge. After months of requests, today we're finally building a full national park, complete with a full campground, cabin lodging, trails, and alpine lakes. So let's get to work. All right, welcome back. Here we are in Cedar Butte that we worked on last time. Thank you everybody again, as always, for the comments and everyone for subscribing. Really appreciate that. So yeah, I think this town is feeling pretty good. We got some detail in here at the end of last time. I went ahead and filled in a little more apartment buildings and some more offices. And so there's still a few little spots here that could do some, use a little more work. I do think maybe we expand over here, not like a town, but just kind of some ranch home stuff. And I do actually want to get kind of a neighborhood up and going over there. But what I want to do today is address something that you guys have been talking about for a long time. And you may have gotten a hint of it in the intro cinematics. And that is national park stuff and some camping stuff and all of that. So initially, when we built this insane road, we talked about making this kind of a little beachside town similar to Willow Corner. That is, I'm just now seeing, being very flooded. So that's fun. We'll worry about that later. If you don't see it, it's not happening, right? That's how things work. Little object permanence can just come into effect there. So I think what I actually want to do, though, instead of making this a town, is I want to make this whole area a national park. And I want to kind of get a little bit of a lakeside, well, it's not really lake, but oceanside stuff thing going on here, kind of a visitor center, some car camping, campgrounds, and then we'll work our way kind of up into the mountains a little bit. So the first thing I think we want to do is let's take a look at some terraforming and just make sure that this land is going to be what we want. And I really want to keep things not flat here. But I do want to make sure that we are able to do some of the things that we'll want to do in that way. So to be honest, it's not looking bad. I think the real question is, where do we want to put stuff? So this highway, I think, for the most part, can stay. So I think we're going to want to do some kind of branching off from that. So let's go to our 40-mile-an-hour national road. I really have been liking using this for kind of stuff that doesn't have sidewalks, but is not, a super fast highway. So we used the road builder mod to create this. So I think from here, let's turn on our contour lines, and I think a visitor center kind of area might work right around here. So let's just kind of get a little something coming off and coming up the road. And I think for the visitor center, we'll use this hotel asset. This guy. I think that's the one. Yeah. I mean, that kind of looks a little bit like, like an old, something you might see in Yosemite, some kind of old lodge looking thing. I just want to get rid of some of the trees that are not supposed to be part of this. So that, I think, will be a good place for that. And then let's make sure we get kind of a real visitor center looking layout here. So I think maybe we should flatten a little bit of stuff around this. Whoop, that's not the flatten button. There we go. Because I think we're going to want some parking and kind of a whole plaza situation. If anyone's ever been to Old Faithful in Yellowstone, that's a little bit of what I have in mind here. So let's clear all that out. Let's clear out a bunch of these trees. For now, we'll certainly get quite a few of them back in. So we'll just kind of get rid of all of that. And then I think this is a great time to use a bunch of these, kind of road parking lots. I think let's go with, we never used the angled ones, so maybe we'll go with a little bit of that. So just kind of think about exactly. I want to get a bunch of kind of walking. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and actually make this plaza a bit bigger. Probably started with my road a little too soon. So let's go ahead and get a bunch of these kind of in. And I have a feeling we're going to need to end up filling some of these lots with prop cars, because I don't think they're going to quite fill the way that we would want them to on their own to look, you know, fairly realistic, which is fine. I've noticed, because I put this hotel, this same one. This is the same one we used a long time ago. Where is it, boy? Here. We put this little kind of, you know, hotel I thought would be... Actually, we haven't really looked at it up here since the city's been in, so... Yeah, you can kind of see the city from there, just kind of a weekend getaway, and it has 0 rented rooms. So, people don't really seem to venture out, and I wonder, we had a hotel and in this town too. We used it again here, and this has 0 rented rooms. So it's not like people, the Sims in this game, kind of venture out and use kind of destination lodging. I think if you put a hotel downtown, they will go to it, but it does not really seem quite like they go out of their way to find, you know, these destinations. Maybe there'll be at some point a kind of, I know we have like the leisure deal, you know, the leisure kind of asset pack. I wonder if there will be any kind of tourism thing that you know, kind of inspires the citizens or the people in the game to like go places for leisure. I'm not sure if that will ever be a thing. I mean, at this point, let's just see if we even get the asset editor. So I'm not gonna overthink that one. But so I think we're gonna have to populate this a little bit ourselves to make it look like it's not completely empty, which is fine. Okay, so I just kind of want to build in a bit of this road system here so that it kind of looks like there's a little bit of a you know, a thought out parking lot. And then we can just kind of connect this in like that. And actually, you know what? Let's do, I think a lot of places like this, we're going to make this one way. This kind of looping one-way system. I think a lot of these places do that to keep the traffic flowing and everything. So I think that will make a lot of sense. And then we'll kind of have, maybe we do like a roundabout here. In order to kind of get this stuff working in a seemingly good way. Let's try that again. There we go. And then we can get our, so let's slope this. Let's try, now we'll have to use the slope tool, I think, to extend it a bit. Like that, kinda. We can just bring that off there and then smooth that out a bit. And then we'll take our 40-mile-an-hour national road from here and just thinking how, if there's like some other way we kind of want to actually maybe make this like an off-ramp. There is a, might as well lean into kind of the Yellowstone thing. There is an like an actual kind of off-ramp in Yellowstone to get to like the Old Faithful Visitor Center. So maybe we just end up doing that. We can, I think, I think we can do the, oh my God, words. Roundabout here, I think will still work really well. But we can just kind of get something like that going, and then let's throw like a decent sized roundabout in there. Yeah, that's working. And and then let's go ahead and turn this into a 4-lane highway so that we can get some off-ramp stuff working the way we probably want. Like that, and let's make sure that is kind of working. Okay, and then, so this will be fairly similar to kind of what we were doing in our other little small town. It's kind of an off-ramp for the sake of an off-ramp. So I guess from here we have to... oh, and actually, I wonder if this would be an interesting way to lead this into... Forgot about kind of the lakeside area of this. We might do that another way, I think, actually. So let's just kind of take this around, like, maybe about there, and then split this off like that. And this is a little bit not going to be close enough, so we'll have to... All right, I'm going to get some of this road stuff laid out, and then we'll come back and keep going. All right, so there's probably still a little bit of... Some of this stuff looks a little weird, but I was looking a little too not weird, I guess. Like, it was perfectly lined up and everything was symmetrical, and I don't know, wasn't quite doing it for me. I think having this at an angle is a little better. We do need to fix some of this land around it, though, obviously. I think just kind of working some space back in here and having this kind of tucked into a little bit of this nook area is better. And this will look a lot, you know, we'll get some paths in, we'll get some surfaces in, we'll get trees in and some facilities and stuff. So let's now look at kind of the car camping, like the easy trailer campground, I think, that we'll get in kind of here. So I think we can just kind of have that. Does that... I would kind of make that its own entrance, but also it should be connected to this, and I don't want... If we put an entrance here, no traffic will use this. Not that, again, I feel like we're even going to get that much traffic here, because it'll look cool, but the Sims don't really recognize that without kind of some functionality. So I think we'll just... I think we'll probably use alleyways for this, and I think we can just kind of branch off right here. Also, I realize we should probably connect this to our parking lot. And then, yeah, I think from right here, we can just kind of bring this off and see how these kind of campground parking lots work. So actually, let's make that a little bit shorter like that. And then we'll just get kind of a road. Let's get our contour lines on here. And let's actually push a little bit of this back. So we'll just get kind of like I think a lot of these times these kind of go on some sort of loop, so we can get something like that kind of going, and then we'll have some stuff to branch off. Obviously, we will need to bring this all up to the height we want, and we don't want any keys here, so let's extend that out, and we'll force whoa, that's not quite what we wanted. Thought we had, that should be forcing ground on. There we go. There it is. Okay, so that I think is all in the right place. All right, and now we can just kind of get some little crossroad, not crossroad, probably not the right word, but just stuff to kind of meander through here that we can get. So we'll just get a bunch of like various little kind of pull off camp sites for this. Trying to think of how we should do that. If there's like a way to do it that would be, I don't know, somehow more functional. I don't know if that's really going to be a thing for this though. I think really what's going to make the most sense will just be to draw some little surface patches of cement or of, you know, concrete, whatever. And then we can just kind of film it, you know. So I feel like a lot of these camping areas will kind of give you like a little place to kind of park, you know, this kind of thing. And then you kind of camp around that. So let's go through here. I'm gonna add a bunch of these, some more detail, and try to get this looking a little more not like how it looks now. All right, so I think that's working pretty good. I probably should have put the cars down first. I feel like these parking spots are a little big for each campsite, but it's not the end of the world. Got a little central area with some trash stuff and some restrooms and facilities, a little barbecue area. Probably could use a little more trees and bush detail and stuff, but overall, I think from like a high level, that looks a lot like a campground. So I didn't quite get into the detail of this. I felt like that time lapse was probably getting long enough as is. So we'll come back to that, but let's look at some of the rest of our parks infrastructure here. And I think one of the main things I really want to look at is, this road was already here. It doesn't need to be an outside connection though. And it really winds its way all the way back up in here. Up to this canyon valley area where there is some little camping stuff going on already. This just was in the map when I downloaded it, but I think we can obviously make this a little better. But I think what we do need to look at is this road itself. I like that it's just an alleyway and that it's super small and narrow and winding, but it does have some weird stuff going on with it. So I just want to go through and make sure that it is, you can see right here, it's just not super smooth. So let's just kind of make sure that this is working out well on we might even need to go in and replace some stuff. So let's just actually even do that. Let's just go ahead and delete that, and we'll go back in with this, and we've got the tools we need on. And we should be able to get a bit more of a smooth, let's see if that worked. Yeah, it's steep, and that's fine that it's steep. I just want to make sure that it's smooth and doesn't have any weirdness going on, and that there's no rocks here. And that we're just kind of getting, like, I think there was some, I kind of looked over it earlier, and there was just a few spots I felt like I wanted to go back over. And just even like that, I think it's just going to be a little smoother. I love that. I mean, this was the part that was really killing me. So we'll just kind of get rid of all of this. But I do like the way that it is really just kind of, I mean, it's very steep, but I like the way that it's right on edge here, and this part was also pretty funky. If anyone has ever been to Rocky Mountain National Park, I'm blanking on the name of the road, but the road that kind of goes from the main part of the park out to Estes Park, when you get way up on the top, gets real sketchy. It's not as narrow like this, and it's way higher up, but it's steep and it's winding, and it really feels like you're in, someplace special, like a national park, not just some mountain road. So I like that this road kind of already feels that way. I just want to make sure that it's kind of as smooth as it can be in the areas where it makes sense. So we just want to go through and kind of, that didn't work out super well here. Let's maybe start going this way, and we can just turn it into a turn there. There we go. And it is very, very steep, and I know we've been really focusing, or trying at least, to focus a lot on, that is crazy. That I think we can fix. To focus on like the realism of steepness. I'm gonna let that slide a little here, just because this whole area is so narrow. I don't really know, what else we could do with it to fix it. So just pretend. This, however, though, I think we can kind of redo entirely. So I think we'll just use our slope tool somewhere, wherever it is. There it is. And see if we can't try something. Boy, this is going to be interesting. All right, so from up here, I think we can get a little more of this kind of thing going. And then actually, let's just bring this down a bit and we can try to maybe take advantage of a little more space here with this. That might work, maybe. We've been doing a lot of these roads lately, so appreciate your patience if you are a little bored with them, and you're welcome if you're really enjoying them. So it just depends on... It's really just about the experience you want to have here, you know? I'm just trying to... just gonna do what I do, and some of you will love it, and some of you will hate it. But that's kind of what the internet's for, right? Nobody agreeing and everybody thinking that their own opinion is right. Okay, I'll stop now. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that already feels quite a bit better. And then... yeah, I think that's pretty good. So I'm a little torn because I kind of like that it's got this kind of, this big clearing up here, this kind of Alpine clearing going on. So I don't know if we'll definitely get some trees in here, but I don't know that I want to get a ton. I feel like this should be a bit of a trailhead, campground kind of thing. We've already obviously got some trails going on. But we can get some trees in here, I think. Just kind of fill in a bit of this. Kind of helps when they run up the hill a little bit to feel like they're not just kind of coming out of nowhere. And I think this whole little valley area can... it's got some trees in it, but I think we get some of these evergreens in here will really help. I feel like I did a lot for that little town we just did. Just kind of lining everything with these kind of really thick, dense evergreen trees really gives that Alpine feeling. But if you've ever been up, you know, higher in elevation, some of those trees really do start to thin out, and it gets a little barren up there. That stuff doesn't... some of that stuff doesn't grow, you know, all the way up. So it's a real balance of a kind of both. But I think that is helping a little bit. I just want to get some in here. Nothing crazy. So let's see. I mean, these are a little arbitrary, but I do like this parking lot. I think what we'll do is we'll get rid of this and we'll make this like a real parking lot kind of thing here. Kind of like that. And we can get some sort of facilities. I wonder what... maybe we do like some... is there anything commercial, I wonder, that... I don't think cabin is a thing anywhere in this. Oh, what's that? Play cabin. That's like for a backyard. That's like a little kid's backyard house. Oh, you know, well, so maybe we'll think on this for a little bit. I do think it would be kind of neat to... maybe we do fill in some of this with trees or a little kind of sparing trees and just kind of make this a big trailhead area. I'm trying to think what infrastructure might work for that. Some bathrooms, a little visitor center thing. But I also wonder if maybe not even the visitor center, because we're just kind of... this is a really up here and remote location. So good. I'm glad we got this road settled out a little bit. I think we can still massage a little bit of this stuff into place and just kind of get this feeling a little better. And smooth out this a bit. Now let's kind of bring that up. But yeah, overall, I think this is certainly better. And, you know, this will be here. We're not going to, it's because of where it is. It's not like we're going to be seeing it a ton, but it's good to know that it's cleaned up. Boy, that is a crazy road. It's way too steep for real cars, but that's okay. So now, the other thing I was thinking about doing here is, so we've got our campground, we've got our hotel. I was thinking about doing kind of a little tiny home camp section. And that we can use like some real houses, and that might actually get us some activity out here, some real activity. So I think over here we can do that. I also want to, of course, get this road connected up, so it's getting some infrastructure kind of going along that. And then, of course, this will need a bunch of detail. But I think for the tiny home situation, or kind of the little cab, we'll call it more of a cabin, kind of a rental cabin thing. I think we can just go with maybe, yeah, I guess maybe we do. I'm trying to think what road we want to use. I don't want sidewalks is the thing, but the alleyways do feel, yeah, I think we'll just use the alleys. That's fine. So let's see. So if this comes off of there, we'll get a road going up that way. So maybe we do this kind of like this. And let's turn snapping back on. And can kind of get this kind of thing in, and then from a road we can kind of connect it like that and have this kind of going up that way, and we'll get another maybe road coming in there. I think that kind of thing should work out okay. And let's just smooth this out a little more, and then let's take a look at probably back to our some of these like level 1 vanilla homes, kind of like we use in the trailer park, but I want to find ones that feel a little less trailer park-y. Does that thing kind of work if we had a bunch of, those? That's not too bad. I wonder if there's something else we can find though. So I think these little 2x4 ones actually are a bit better than the big ones. Since this is not true residential, unless, I mean, it's going to end up being that because of the way the game functions, but in reality, it's more, you're supposed to kind of be little rental cabins. I wish they had some sort of, little A-frame type thing, but we're not going to get that, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and get rid of these and drop a few more of these in, and then get another row of them back here. Oops. Like, my mouse keeps jumping and just putting it right on top. That's... There we go. There we go. So we are going to need to get some power in here, but I think the other thing we'll need, obviously, will be like a little market, little kind of area, a little general store. Let's flatten a little more space out, because this would kind of serve even people that are camping and not just the tiny home people. So certainly a gas station. Don't need to be too big of one though. Can we get that to... Boy, that really does not want to snap onto... There we go. So gas station there. And let's see if there's... Look for a low... Could be kind of a general store. There is like there's one that really looks like a grocery store, but it might be a little too big. This one though looks pretty good actually. It doesn't fit here, but it could either fit there Oh, that's actually, I think, a great place for it. All right, so that will work. Got that in. I wonder if there's anything else. Probably fit some other little sort of facility in here. I want to make sure it kind of has a somewhat rustic. I don't know if that's quite the right word, but nothing that looks too. No, that's not bad either. That could have been our. All right, let's get some power in here because this is. Do we want to just let's see how far are we? Ooh, we can just run it. I think what we'll do though is let's get some power coming from outside and just run it there, and then I think we need. Let's see, does this work? No, we need the transformer in order to connect those, unfortunately. So where do we want to put that? Where is it? Transformer station. Kind of tuck that away down here, maybe by the highway a bit. And then we can get that going out and just connect that right away up into here. And that should, oh, looks like did we miss? There we go. And then we'll just need a road, obviously, for that. Just have a little kind of maintenance road coming off of there. Okay, that's not bad. I think, let's also just get this road finalized, I guess. From here, this can just kind of wind in and around and find its way down there. There we go. All right, I think let's just get some detail on some of this stuff so that this looks a little more finalized, and then yeah, I think we'll be good. Okay, so we got quite a bit done here. I filled in with it's just a lot of trees and textures really that make it look kind of as full as it is. There's not a ton more than that other than what we put in. I did kind of build out this little maintenance area a bit because we had this transformer station anyway. I feel like we might as well. And we got the park maintenance vehicles. We'll fill in some more trucks and stuff like that around here, some snow movers and all that kind of thing. It's not ideal that this goes through this neighborhood, so maybe we'll connect that out somewhere else, but we did get in some fire, some police, we got a medical center, and then I added a couple of these Eastern European housing units that actually I think look like hotels. So I think that really kind of helps build out this whole lodging situation. And yeah, overall, I think as far as kind of the main area of a national park, I think this is working really well. So yeah, I added a little more trees and some more bushes in here that I think is really helping to kind of make this feel a little full of the campground. And actually, one thing I do want to do while we're over here is I think let's go ahead and get all of these on a consistent color scheme. I think that'll make it look a little less more like a neighborhood and more like kind of a uniform lodging situation. So I think that is going to help. Instead of getting all these colors in, we just kind of make these this rustic look. Yeah, I think that. Oh, and you almost got away with the blue, and you almost got away with the pink. I think that helps a lot too to make this feel a little more uniform. So yeah, overall, pretty good with this. I think the last thing I want to do today is zip back up our mountain road here. Keep going. There it is. And I think there's two things I want to do here. One, I think a lake makes a lot of sense. So let's go ahead and get a little Alpine lake situation going on. I think we can kind of let's actually get rid of a bit of this trail here. And where's our, there we go. And let's just kind of sink down a bit here. And we can I think we'll keep it right along. Kind of this area is what I was thinking about. Just kind of as you are driving up, I thought it'd be nice to drive just along a little lake here. And then you can, park your car, have a little lunch or whatever, and then head off on a hike. Or if you're coming back from a long hike or backpacking, you can, jump in the lake and get nice and cooled off before you drive down the insane mountain we've got going on here. So I don't always want the base of lakes like this to be too flat because they're not. So let's just try to see if we can't use the smooth tool here to give us a little bit more of an uneven bed to our lake here, as well as give us a bit of a shoreline, or kind of a beach shoreline. I can always just kind of take some stuff in and out like that, and when you smooth that out, it'll help you get a little less even of a lake bed. It's not too bad. Let's also go ahead and get in kind of a lake bed base in here. I never use these really dark ones, but let's see if that does us any good here. Kind of get one of these mixed ones on the side, coming around, try to keep it off the cliff area a little bit, and then we'll use the thin one here kind of around the top. And see if that won't help us get a little bit of a kind of a beach area kind of right over, oops, just missed, right over here. So that's a pretty stark, maybe the dark one is not the one. Let's see if we can't blend it a little bit with some decals. Let's see. And maybe it won't matter. Let's get water in, I guess, first and see if that maybe makes, if we even need it. So constant lake, level source, hard to maybe look right about there. And then we'll let that go. So now we've got our, I think less of a camping area here and more of like a picnic area. The trail kind of going off is good, but I think we'll kind of put it in a different place. So it's too bad that there's only this, and this, before I say it, let's double check. I think there really is only this like pavement path, and there's not really a natural path, which is kind of a bummer. But that's okay. So we'll just take our path kind of coming off like this and kind of working its way around and kind of going up the side of the mountain here and up along this route, and this can kind of be our kind of backcountry area up into the mountains there. And maybe we'll take also one and have it kind of break off if you want to kind of take the trail out to a little different area over here, which will just, guess you can make an outside connection for a path. I don't know if people will end up walking that way, but now at least you've kind of got a couple of options for trails. And is that water still coming up, or did we set it too low? Let's turn the speed up here a little bit. It looks like it is not really coming any higher, so maybe I did it a little too low. So about, we want to get it at least to here. We'll place that and see if that starts to come up at all. So we still have plenty of distance for that to come up, but I think already that is looking pretty sweet. So let's get some trees in here while we're seeing how that water level does. Just kind of give a nice little rocky peninsula area here. Just follow kind of the spine here, try to stay off the actual rocks and just keep the trees over the grassy areas. It gets a little narrow here. And just kind of working around. And then I think for this area, what I want to do is actually keep the trees kind of sparse. So we're going to turn our brush size up and our strength way down. Way down. And just kind of do this kind of thing. I think kind of keeping this high Alpine look where there are trees, but it's not as dense as kind of everything else. And then I want to get some of this surface area in here. Hopefully this will end up with the look I kind of have in mind. Just kind of fill in some of these areas around the grass. Because I do want there to be a lot of grass, but I just don't want it to be, you know, that constant. Have a little bit of the kind of broken dirt area in here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then let's also just get some more bushes and maybe some rocks and stuff and just try to fill this out a little more. We don't have to go crazy on the detail here. We're not going to be up here much, but, you know, still want to kind of get as much as we can to make it feel good. Let's kind of get some rock situation here in this kind of rocky area, and then get some of these low bushes in. These have a nice kind of high alpine sagebrush kind of look to them. Probably should have turned off anarchy because they're going to be all over our pathways. Ooh, and I do not want to go through and delete these manually, but I have to. Alright, that wasn't actually so bad. But yeah, that definitely kind of has that look I was hoping for. Our lake has filled up pretty good now. So we can actually get some, let's go ahead and get some rocks along this area. Just give a little bit of detail here to this, and let's see if we can't even, let's try this. These rocks end up spreading a little thick even when you have it on the brush strength on 100, or sorry, not thick, but wide. Like, I wish they were like really on top of each other. You really have to go over it quite a bit. Because I kind of want to get this like kind of boulder field look. But it takes a lot of just sitting here holding this button to do it, or you got to do it all, you know, manually by hand, which is kind of a pain too with how many you end up really wanting. So we'll just get enough in here to make it feel like there are enough. I don't know what I'm even saying at this point, but I think just being able to see him kind of along the edge like that underwater and on the side, I think really does a lot for just giving a more detailed look to this, rather than just kind of having these arbitrary, you know, having the stuff just kind of go right into the water without any kind of detail around it. Kind of didn't want them to go up that high, but as long as they're dense enough, it can actually look okay. But see how wide these really jump around? Like, they're jumping way up to the top of that thing, which is not quite what I want. The trees end up being really dense. The rocks are super all over the place. And then even just trying to delete some of those, you saw it, like where it ends up deleting them takes such a jump. So I think at some point we just have to kind of go in here manually, but I think that's kind of doing enough to just give it that rocky look. Over here, I think we can filling in this in with some bushes and a surface, I think should go a pretty long way. So let's look at kind of this. Actually, let's go with like with the grass here. And we'll do the same. Yeah, there's a little more detail that we need here, but that, I mean, after driving up this crazy road, that's certainly nice to come see. I think the lake really is doing a lot for just adding that kind of blue, you know, natural color profile, and just get some bushes up in here to just create a little more detail. You probably have a lot of green lining the river, or sorry, the lake bed here. So yeah, I think that's doing great. So I think we'll a little more detail here maybe at some point, but I think we're good to call it a day here. Thank you everybody so much for watching as always. And yeah, I know you guys have been asking for this kind of national park camping stuff for a while, so hopefully this is scratching that itch. And yeah, there's a little bit more to do here. I do want to figure out, I think we maybe get kind of a waterside, maybe a small waterside town here, just kind of some fancy home people living next to the national park, really basic stuff. I did drop in this firefighting helicopter depot because it felt very rural or whatever, but I don't know that we'll keep it, maybe we won't. Quite a traffic jam behind this road maintenance vehicle. Let's do everybody a favor here and just get rid of that so that we can stretch that traffic out a bit. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.